WWE fans, it is time for the Backstage Jabronis. He thought I was going to forget. And he, of course, is my tag team partner, Daniel Snyder. I am Jeremy York. We are here to talk all things WWE, which, of course, means this week we are talking. Whoop, almost did that right.
Night
There we go.
of
Night of
Champions.
Champions. Speaking of Night of Champions, how is your night going?
My night's going pretty good. Last night, when we were supposed to have done this, we went out bowling, me and a couple buddies, and I was not a champion on that night. Not by far.
Well, I
It
mean,
was
hey, look, first off, we are both always champions no matter where we go.
that is
But
very
as
true.
far as the actual contest you were having, maybe you got a podium finish as opposed to being at the top.
It was my job to sell that last night. I was selling.
Hey, that's important.
Yes, yes. The sellers also get paid.
They do.
Speaking
Just like
speaking of sellers,
I say, just like C's get degrees. Sorry, kids. It's true.
yeah,
It's true. Don't
yeah,
believe
yeah,
me? I'll go pull something off the wall right now and prove it.
yeah. Yeah,
No, speaking of sellers,
yeah. Alexa Bliss and Asuka had the first Queen of the Ring match Saturday night for the semifinals,
yep,
and Alexa Bliss was the seller.
she
Um,
was.
I figured
And it was
Asuka.
very apparent, very early in that match. Even though I wasn't watching live, I already knew who was going to win. But very early in that match, I saw the signs that this was already over.
Well, she Asuka is back from Asuka. Asuka is back from injury,
Yep.
and they're pushing her hard, and which is going to have me kind of conflicted a little bit. And I'll tell you why when we talk about the other
When,
semifinal women's match, and
when,
I'll get into
yeah, I'm
yeah,
about to say when we get to the final, I will explain why these two match up.
okay.
It's
Well, and
very
I have my
very
opinion on
easy.
what I think is going to happen,
Yeah,
but Asuka wins, beats Alexa Bliss, and I kind of feel like they've got other plans for their Miss Bliss. But I'm not
I do.
sure what I'm like you had mentioned the whole her and Charlotte. Are they going to be a tag team? Are they going to go against each other? You really don't know yet because you kind of can see either way it's going to go.
Yeah.
They're they're trying to have Charlotte be a face. They really are. They want Charlotte to be a face. Nobody likes her. They want her to be a face so bad that they had her go against another heel. What was that, this week or the last week?
Thought it was this week, wasn't it?
Let me look.
Yeah, she went against Chelsea Green, who's the best heel in the company. And yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
so
care what
that's
gender you are, best heel in the company, Chelsea Green.
that's why that's what I'm saying. They want her to, and now they're starting to low key team her up with Alexa, have them have positive instead of negative back and forth. So I mean that's that. Um, I know you wasn't happy about it because you kind of wanted Alexa to
Yeah,
win, correct?
yeah, but I will explain more when we get to Night of Champions because it made sense. And yeah, I mean, I like Asuka. I think Asuka is in the role that she is being put into right here, and that's kind of a hint towards it. She might be one of the best candidates for what is potentially going to happen here. It was a good match though.
Mm,
Both of them just coming back off injuries. I mean, Bliss has technically been back for a couple months, but she's only had about 3 matches, so she kind of needed to knock the rust off a little
a
bit.
little bit.
Neither one of them looked like they were rusty, but it was a good match. It was one of the better matches, and it does set up the card for tomorrow afternoon.
That it does, and I agree, it was a pretty decent match. Part two of your fateful letdown. King of Rings semifinal for Saturday night. Randy
There
Orton
was a lot
and
of parts that were let down.
Sammy. Randy and Sammy was a good match, but I kind of figured I
Yeah.
I will say though, I don't know where they're going with this, which is maybe a
Well,
good thing.
there is the latest match to get added to the card for Night of Champions explains to me why Orton went over so clean.
Yes, yes, yes. But I'm talking about the setup for, which we'll talk about here shortly, the finals for King of Ring, because I know who I want to win, and we'll talk about that here shortly after we talk about the other match. But I'm worried that they're not going to do the right thing. But we'll see.
I agree. And if
Um,
that happens, I will throw it out there. If you are looking to replace your TV in the near future, and your significant other will not let you do so until something happens to that one, invite me over for Night of Champions. And when they do the stupid thing I think they're going to do with the end of the men's tournament, I will break your TV right there. Then you can get a new one. I promise to help you do that. I will be that kind of guy. I will be a stand up guy until I don't know, I might pile drive it through a table. I'm not real sure what I would actually do. It's going to frustrate me, but I won't do it to my own TV because TVs cost money.
yes, they do. They do. But that's Randy Orton one, which I kind of called, but I'm hoping that it's for good reasons. That was the last semifinal match on SmackDown. There was
Yep.
one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
We actually finally got to see the Jacob Fatu and Solo interaction.
Yeah.
We've been seeing it, but you finally got to, okay, what's going on here?
Yep.
Um, and Jimmy came down to help out Jacob. It's letting you
Yep.
know now that
Kind of see the teams forming again.
kind of. You don't know. We don't know.
There's still one, and last I heard, there's a rumor that somebody may be back here. Is what I'm, and I heard he may not be alone. So we'll see.
We'll see. It's going to be very interesting.
We'll see
Uh,
because for some reason that family has a real hard time traveling. So we'll also
so we might not
some
see
of it for
Jacob
good
Fatu
reason.
at this
Yeah, yeah. It surprises me that there are what at least
six
two
matches.
members.
Oh
There's
yeah.
two members of that family that are on this card that they got those two across international waters. That's a feat unto itself.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, outside of those matches, we already mentioned the Charlotte match with
Yeah.
LA Knight had a match with Bronson, and it
Yep.
LA Knight won by disqualification. I heard he's injured legit. I don't know how true it is. It also could be just a way for them to write him off TV until the draft, and then him be a big surprise draft for Raw.
Now
Um,
I do know for sure, not even on good record, I do know for sure that Dominic Mysterio is legit injured, and that's why his match with AJ was scratched from the card. That's legit. That's not WWE protecting anybody. That's not Dom or AJ couldn't make the flight. That's straight up. They canceled this a week ago and decided to tell us midweek. But that match is going to happen somewhere down the road because Dom is legit hurt.
okay, okay. I wonder what's wrong. Did it say what was wrong, or they just said he was hurt?
I didn't read that much into it, but I read enough by the people who said it that it's legit. It's not super bad. He's going to be back long before Liv will, but other
Yeah,
than that, it's kind of weird. They're both injured at the same time, but it
that is
is.
very interesting. But I guess on to Raw, where it was open with Breaker and Penta, a good match. Um, but it was really just a match just to see Penta get speared out the air. Um, Braun broke him in half. That match was followed by the other semifinal women's, which then we could lead to our conversations. I was
Yeah,
upset
because I
about this one
I
because
was I was
Jade
fantasy
gets
booking when I made a lot of these picks because I mean we know good and well who was going to win that more than likely, but I wanted to be a little different, and I'm a big Roxanne fan. I like
me
Jade.
too.
I remember when she debuted in AEW. She debuted as a tag partner of Shaquille O'Neal. I was listening to his podcast, and I met him not long after that. And I asked him, or I didn't ask him that time, but I've heard him legit say, he goes, no, she is legit that athletic. She could be a big deal when she figures it out. And
But
she's starting to figure it out.
if you guys watched our show last week, I picked Roxanne to win it all. I wanted Roxanne. I'm a huge Roxanne fan. I love Roxanne.
Absolutely.
as a she's a great performer. And I think she knows what she's a future main eventer for a very long time.
You know how
But
old she is?
I think 23, dude. It's like 22 or 23. She's young, very young.
Well, she's been wrestling for like what do we say, 8 years? Like
7 years.
since
I
she was
think it was
15?
seven. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
that is very crazy. But you see it when she performs. She lost to Jade Cargill. I did not see this coming. Very surprised. But when it happened, some things started tinging in my head. So
Yep.
now this is what I see happening. Jade wins Queen of the Ring.
Yep.
Um, Naomi's going to cash in on Money in the Bank on Tiffany Jade versus Naomi for the title. That's what that leads to.
It could. There's a lot of pieces that way, and shout out to the Tapped Out podcast network, Nick and Myron and all them. First off, for giving me opportunities to cover some of the local shows on their behalf here lately. Among just they're great people, but they said this on on their show about this week too. They said it makes more sense to free up Roxanne to for the thing she's going to do, so that Jade can go in this direction, and you get Jade, Tiffany, Naya, Naomi, and I think there's another one, but there's a bunch. There's a logjam here that they're all kind of tied together. And then the thought on Roxanne is that right now, the most perfect place to slide her in is to
Tag team
basically
champion.
slowly start taking everything Liv had the same way Liv took from Rhea.
Yeah, yeah, and
Take Dom, take the Judgment Day, take the tag titles, take everything.
and I see that happening. And I think that's what's gonna she's gonna end up taking her best friend, and Raquel's gonna be her best friend. Like, wow, I really like
Well,
this.
and that way, when Liv comes back, because she was already going to come back and be a major face push when she came back anyway, because people love her. It's hard for her to be on the Judgment Day, in my opinion, because as
Well, Judgment,
dastardly as she can be, she's just really likable. So
well, that's what
when she comes
Judgment
back,
Day
you
is.
push her as the face, and you push Roxanne, who's become the queen of the clubhouse, and it's. I mean, it might be WrestleMania main event.
Well, I think Judgment Day is popular because of Dominic and Liv. I
The
mean,
female members and Dominic Mysterio are about 90% of the reason why the Judgment Day is pumping out so many stars.
yes, yes, and see, and Roxanne is going to be able to fall right into Liv's
Sure.
shoes and keep it going, keeping it legit. So I look
And
forward
this
to
is a
that
rivalry that can go for another 5, 6, maybe 10 years between the two of them.
because they're
It
both
may be
young.
one of the best rivalries in WWE by the end of it.
Lita, and Trish again.
Yeah.
Um, so who you got in the Jade versus Asuka?
Honestly, I try to make Asuka make sense, and it doesn't.
Does not
She is in this match for the same reason that Charlotte took on Tiffany Stratton at
the
WrestleMania.
name. That is very
This
true.
this is the measuring stick to see if they think Jade is ready and if she can handle it, because Asuka is going to throw the kitchen sink at you. That's just what she does. She's so unorthodox, so all over the place in an organized way. Something Jade has not seen. She has not seen a fireball like this since her AEW days, and even then, it would take me a minute to tell you who it was then. But Asuka is just one of those. She has forgotten more holds and counters than Jade Cargill has probably had days on Earth, and this is the measuring stick. Now Jade's going to win regardless because Queen Jade makes the most sense, and unfortunately Queen Asuka doesn't make a lot of sense. But
I feel I
it's
feel
that's what I think. I think it's Jade.
because it makes sense. WWE's probably going to put it on Asuka. And when I
Maybe,
say
but
because of
then
what we're
you
saying, because of what we're saying makes sense. Because Jade being
yeah.
Queen of the Ring, because it leads to too many great storylines. It leads to a potential her using her Queen
Well,
of the
it'll be
Ring.
that way. If she gets if she wins Queen of the Ring, you get or King of the Ring, you get your title shot against a champion at SummerSlam. SummerSlam is still a month and a half away. That's a long. I think there's an event
There's
in
a
between them too,
there's a
or the
Saturday
Saturday
there's
Night Main
Saturday.
Event.
Yeah, so I mean, there's an opportunity there for Naomi if the win it and that be the match. That's what I'm
You
saying.
know
There's
what?
so much there.
I think I'm gonna say it now. We're not gonna talk much about the cash in because I don't think it's gonna be that prevalent. I don't think she cashes in at Night of Champions. I think she cashed in Saturday Night Main Event.
Or I think an evolution.
I
That's
think she catches in Saturday night main event, and the rematch is the next night on Evolution.
okay.
Whoever she catches on, she's going to win. And that person, whether it's Tiffany or whether it's Io, is going to be like, nope, me, you, tomorrow night. Okay.
Okay, so let's we're going from talking about a potential great females showing to I'm tired of seeing Becky Lynch and Bailey and Lyra and all and it's just come on, dude. Let's move on
Oh,
from
see, here's the
this.
thing: is Bailey is the victim in this because Lyra's yelling at her from a good side. Becky's yelling at her from a bad side. She's stuck in the middle, going, "I don't care. I'll beat both of you."
Lyra is turning heel slowly here, and I don't know if it's intentional or what they got going on. Yeah.
That's what I see.
So
And they
Becky and
pair up,
Lyra
and,
back
and they
together.
might, and those two, Becky and Lyra, might actually take over as the major heel team when Raquel and Roxanne start doing their stuff.
Yeah, and that's what they need. So I mean, so that's what followed that. Becky Lynch went against Bailey. Bailey lost because Lyra interfered and just couldn't hold her anger back. Stupid.
Did she do it on purpose?
Who knows? Maybe we'll find
That's what
out.
kind of looked like to me.
Yeah, which was followed by a match that ended very stupidly, and I wasn't very impressed with it. Cody, I'm ready for you to turn heel. Ready for you to turn heel, dude.
No, he
Because
said it's going to be at least 1 to 3 years before he does. I don't think he's going to wrestle that long. So I think he's pretty much telling you he's never going to turn heel.
I'm not liking face Cody. It's too much for
Unless
me.
unless he does it. Okay, here's another thought. Tapped out, threw this out there, but it was kind of a thought I was following for the most part till then. All right, so unfortunately, I think I would love Randy Orton to win King of the Ring. I think Cody Rhodes is going to do it because Cody Rhodes. Um, Cody's going to win. He's going to get his match with John Cena at SummerSlam. We're going to get the Bret Hart Stone Cold double flip. We're going to get John Cena back to being good guy for the ride out, and we're going to get Cody as a bad guy heel here, and that's where I think they're headed. Because if you keep Cody face too much longer, he's going to start getting John Cena treatment, and outside of Make a Wish, nobody's going to want his attention.
So here's a question for you. John Cena not as champion. Does anybody care to watch his matches?
I do
Not
because
as
he's John
not
Cena, but
not as a champion.
it's
Do his
it's kind of like saying, I don't get to follow the NBA like I want to, but if I'm flipping through and I see LeBron or Steph Curry or one of the greatest of this generation playing, I mean, I'm not a fan of either team that they're on. I'm a Hawks fan. But if I flip through and I see Warriors Lakers, I'm going to stop for a few minutes because I'm watching two of the greatest to ever do it.
but do his matches matter if it's not for a title?
They do because there's now a shot clock. There's now a number that we can attach to.
See,
Before it's like, oh, okay, if I miss this one, I'll catch the next one. Well, there may not be a next one. Like because people know at the end of the year he's done. What if he runs through all of his appearances in October? He may be done in October. They
I see.
haven't promised that he's going to make the end of the year. They just said no matter what, by the end of the year, he's done.
He's done.
But
Yeah.
he could run through his appearances, in a couple months.
Oh, they've got it planned out. But
They do.
see that's like me. Lately, I've been thinking to myself, does John Cena not being champion is it still going to be worth watching? Because it has for me to care about his story or care about what he's got going on. Because in my head, I was thinking CM Punk beats Cena, Seth cashes in on CM Punk, and that goes that way. That means and I think Randy Orton's going to beat Cody here. That means Randy faces Seth or like what does that mean? Or Cody faces Seth. Like what does that mean? So now I'm pulling back on that. Randy beats Cody leads to SummerSlam of Randy versus John. which to me would be Randy's opportunity to get his shot back. Cody's not going to win this. Cody's not facing John again until I'm thinking Survivor Series, if then. Like, I don't think Cody gets an opportunity for a world title.
And we forget there's still another chess piece on the board of that whole of all those people you just mentioned. You didn't even mention Ron Killings and all that, who's still kind of floating around and could easily show his face somewhere and disrupt something,
And see, I agree. That's
including a cash in.
he could stop. Well, see, I've now flipped it to where I think Seth is going to cash in on Goldberg because Goldberg said this is his last match regardless. And because they asked him,
But why would you have him go over Gunther, who is your best male heel in the entire company?
the same
Like his
reason you had
promos are off the charts.
same
Like Gunther is just that big bruiser guy.
the same reason you had him tap out to a sleeper at WrestleMania to
That was
somebody
dumb. But yeah,
to somebody that never did the sleeper in his entire career.
yeah, yeah. He stole his finisher and beat him with it, and you're like,
Yes, exactly. So I mean, when it comes to this company, you have to question yourself on a lot. So Goldberg comes back. His son makes an appearance because I've been
okay, I
seeing
can see that.
his son helps him win. Seth comes down, cashes it in. Seth is now champion. Goldberg gets to walk away without having to wrestle anymore. He
See,
said,
once again, a prevailing thought, and I'm gonna give Tapped Out all the credit on this one too. I have to get you to listen to their podcast; they're great. They said, what if Seth cashes in and makes it a triple threat? Gunther gets thrown to the outside. Seth beats Goldberg. It protects Gunther, and Seth now the champion. Goldberg rides off in the sunset, and Gunther is royally ticked off.
Goldberg spears Gunther. Seth steps
Cashes in,
Goldberg ends the match
has
like that.
Braun and Bronson drop him. Even though I still that's 20%. 80% of me says that Seth is going to fail on his cash in.
I don't believe so. He's got too much
I
stuff
think he
around him.
is, and he's gonna try to blame. He could blame either one of them, but I think he's going to try to blame Braun for some reason, whether it's his fault or not. This is going to lead to sooner rather than later. Braun is going to break out. He's gonna spawn off of this group. They can easily replace him with Ricky. He was
Starks.
Starks, whatever his name is now. Ricky.
We'll call him Ricky
I don't know.
Starks.
Ricky. They can replace him with anybody and make that group a whole different focus because I don't see Seth Rollins. The longer it goes, I don't see him as a 1A or a 1B. I see him as a 2. Like they keep trying to make him into like the new Triple H or new Shawn Michaels, and I don't see him on that level. He's a main eventer, but he's not a top tier guy.
Braun does not flip on that. They don't pick Braun out until he wins the Royal Rumble and he chooses to go against Seth. I see a Batista Triple H all over again. That's
Could
what they
be.
go. That's what they're doing.
Because he didn't win Money in the Bank, so the next chance he would get at a title would be to win the Royal Rumble.
There you go. And that's how you push him to the moon. That's going to be a champion. On the other side's going to be God knows who's going to be a champion over there. Possibly nobody. John Cena leaves with the belt.
He could. So I mean, what if they go back to having one belt? I mean, that's possibilities out there.
Yeah, that
if
that
he
could
legit takes that and says, I'm going to be the last WWE champion, maybe it's because at the end of the year they stop calling it WWE, or they just have a World Heavyweight Championship and they don't have a WWE, and so he takes it with him.
There you go, and that's how you get down to just one title.
Yeah,
and Seth will have that only title, and that leads to the potential of.
I mean, and I would say in general, I want one heavyweight men's title. I want one main. I don't want to say weight because out of respect, but I want a female top title, and then we can have U.S. on one show, Intercontinental
champion.
I want one set of tag belts for either gender, one set that goes back and forth the same way that the heavyweight title does. There's way too many belts thrown around to where it feels like everybody has a participation trophy, and it just gets old. Because most of the time, like the tag belts, they just all pass them around like they're at a campfire.
And let's be real, the champion back in the day was the one that had to wrestle the most. You got to be on both shows. You got to be on both shows. You're competing
depending on who calls you out as to which show you're having to go to.
Yes. The other ones, you got to be on Raw, you got to be on SmackDown. You know what? You
Yeah,
might have to face both, face people different times on a pay per view because of this. It's a three-way, um,
yeah,
triple threat match, a three-way. That's a sexual thing. Um, but that leads to let's. So we've talked about the two king and queen matches.
yeah.
On to the
Undisputed title. We were talking about Cena and Punk a little bit. I would love CM Punk to do this, to be
yeah,
the ultimate disruptor. Now, I could also see a
wins.
double flip happen here because evil Punk is way better than face Punk. It's just he was so popular when he came
Hey,
back, they didn't have a choice. But you can make John Cena good or less evil, and you make Punk that just, you know,
just
Doctor
just so you
Evil if
know,
there ever was one.
hey, just so you know, CM Punk has been being booed in Saudi Arabia. Being booed hard is what I heard. Remember,
I mean,
guys, for those of y'all, SmackDown has already happened in Saudi Arabia. It happened at 1 o'clock today.
apparently there was
Um,
a title change, but I didn't see which one.
was there a title change?
I don't know. I saw when I was loading this photo up, I saw somebody way off. It was about as far as I am away from the ring now, and they said something about a title change. We're both going to watch it here in a minute, so couldn't
Yeah,
really tell you.
very interesting.
But um,
Um,
like
so
I
I
said,
say
I would
Cena
really
wins.
love. I think Cena's going to keep the belt. I don't know necessarily who's going to win the match, but I think we're going to see CM Punk turn evil right here. And I don't know if Cena goes good or not, but I just think Punk is going to be more heel than him somehow.
Interesting. Um, Fatu and Solo for the United States. Um,
Fatu retains. Solo proves that he can hang.
I think Solo takes it off of him.
He could
I think
because it
JC,
was free. It was
JC,
free Jacob up to do some other things.
I think JC is a big part of that. Causes Fatu to lose.
I
Um,
think more than JC is involved here. I think, like I said, this could be when this guy comes back. This could be when they have a family reunion out there. I'm not sure who's bringing the potato salad, but I'm here. The banana pudding is to die for.
I love banana pudding. In the street fight, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez.
You know the
Ra-
point of this whole match?
is to get what's her name to help for Perez to help Raquel win.
Well, that's part of it, but it's to show how tough Raquel is that she can hang with Rhea Ripley, even though Ripley's way more talented. And it's no disrespect to Raquel, but if this is a video game, Rhea Ripley's about a 98 and Raquel's maybe an 88.
Yeah, I was gonna say
88
88.
still very good, but
Yeah,
Rhea's almost a maxed out character.
I think Raquel wins, and this is where Perez shows that hey, I've got your back. We're in this together. Let me be your tag team partner.
Or no, yeah, I was about to say, or she cost her the match, but no. We need to pair those two up as quickly as possible so that she just slides in because she even has that look on her face where she's just like, "Who me? I was trying to help you out. I don't know what happened." The
Yeah,
same way Liv does. Her and
yeah,
Liv, this is very much Mickey James, Trish Stratus, just without the
yes.
whole girl aspect.
And I like the possibly in the future see them two as a tag team. I think that'd be a really
Oh
neat
yeah,
tag team.
and it could happen.
And then your main event guy, your guy that you thought they should have been putting all this on, Sami Zayn against Karrion Cross. They need to quit dropping the ball with Karrion Cross. This man has so much potential. He has
I think
more.
this.
He has more
Oh yeah,
chemistry. More. He can hold an entire. He needs to be a champion. He needs to be some kind of
I
champion.
just I just thought of a name, and it's a deep dive into the past. But you know who Karrion Cross reminds me of? I mean, we're talking 70s, 80s.
Harley Race.
Close. Kevin Sullivan.
I could see that. I could see that as well.
See it?
I can
Yeah.
see that.
He is like Kevin Sullivan 2.0 in that he can hold it on the mic. He can just get this emotion out of you, and he can just take over a complete moment to where you almost forget who else is there.
And he's a legit badass.
Yeah.
He's a
Oh
legit
yeah.
badass.
He MMA fights and stuff. I mean, he's not somebody I'd mess with.
I think they
That
need
being
to.
said, Carrion, would love to have you on the show. I've been trying to get you for a couple of years, but I can't find a pathway. So if somebody has a way to get to Carrion Cross, tell him he should be
Yes,
on this show.
yes, man, for real. I think him and LA Knight are dropping the ball with the most. That's two, I
Yeah.
think, big attitudes that they could take over anything that you put them in. They can control. They will control it.
Yeah.
It will make hella money. They're dropping the
Oh
ball.
yeah.
I feel like I don't know what the problem. Like, how you not know what to do with this guy?
I mean, I could say that about AEW with some people. I can say that about WWE, where you just look and you're like, just tell them to be them and leave them alone, and they know what they're doing. And then other people do need a little bit of rough edge in there,
But
here, round out the edges. But Karrion
even
Cross is
when,
somebody that you should just go, hey, you're the second segment of SmackDown, go for it.
but see, even when they let wrestlers be themselves, they still drop the ball. LA Knight, perfect example.
Yeah,
When he's
yeah.
another one that is himself. Yeah. Um, I'm but that is neither here nor there. Sami Zayn, I want to say he wins because of where he's at, but that would end this too
That's
quick.
that's the opposite of whatever happens. If you the same way that I considered this a home game, and they still found a way to get him on the card. Now it had to be Dominic getting hurt, but they found a way to get Sammy, who's kind of the hometown guy. He's not from there; he's Canadian. We all know that, but trust me, he has ties to a lot of things, good things, but a lot of things in this region of the world. And this is kind of a home game for him outside of Canada. So this is the perfect opportunity to take Cross and shove him up where he needs to be. And it's because Sammy can take 15 losses and he's still Sami Zayn. It doesn't affect him
Exactly,
at all.
exactly. I agree.
Me
It's
or
the same
you could
thing.
beat him, and they'd be like, okay, great, Sammy's good.
Yeah. Like he lost, but do you see the great match he put on? I'd
Yeah,
like to see Karrion Cross win here. I'm gonna say he wins, but I mean, just because it should happen, we know WWE.
yeah. Yeah. We both let's recap that. We both got Karrion Cross. You got Rhea or Raquel?
I got Raquel.
I'm gonna say Rhea wins, but I'm gonna say somehow it gets redeemed through Roxanne. Roxanne maybe tries to help her out, Raquel out, and then in the end helps her beat the crap out of Rhea. Fatu or Solo?
I'm saying Solo. Solo takes the title off of him.
Yeah, I like that. I'll agree with
You
that.
eventually
Uh,
have to give Solo something. He keeps
this
taking an L, taking an L, taking an L. You got to give him something.
and he's the leader of the group.
Yes,
But what was next? Cena Punk.
Cena.
Like I said, I think Cena retains. I think Punk wins the match somehow. DQ or something weird. I think Ron Killings is involved. Something like that. But Oscar Jade.
I say Jade for the storyline is who I think is going to win and should win. I say because WWE is WWE, they're probably going to pick Asuka. And I just
Probably.
wanted to say Asuka again.
I was about to say you hadn't said it in about half an hour or
Yeah, I
so.
like Asuka. I'll
Cody
say
or
Jade.
Randy?
Jade. I'm going Jade.
Okay, Cody or Randy?
I'm going Randy. Randy versus Cena 2.0 of this year,
I
SummerSlam.
like it. You're going with my head and my heart, and I'm going with my eyeballs and saying Cody Rhodes, unfortunately. And it's
Did you go
once
Asuka
again,
or
if
Jade?
you need a reason to replace your TV, please invite me over to watch, and I will make sure that you need a new TV.
Got you. All right, well, that was fun.
But other than that, we've got about 20 seconds to go. So any final parting words or anything? I know this weekend on Sunday I will be at Deep South Wrestling at New Realm. Anything fun you got going?
I'll be at work.
Well, we know you'll stay on task and you'll stay on target. So for Daniel Snyder, I'm Jeremy York. We are the Backstage Jabronis. Best topping is still a pepperoni. We'll see you next